For 4 seasons? Four seasons now.
Yeah.
We've had the incredible opportunity to have a conversation with this man every single Tuesday of the season. The first 2 years we did this back-to-back MVPs.
What?
Those happened to be during the COVID years where there's a lot of other stuff happening as well due to this guy's decisions on whether or not taking a vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Had a clever immunized joke at a press conference.
Fantastic.
Kind of snuck one, through the 5-hole there.
Yeah, got him.
Sure.
Then that came back later. It got real loud all over the world quickly. Then there was obviously the Green Bay Packer transition era that happened.
Mm-hmm.
What I have learned is everything this guy does is monitored, watched, loved, or hated.
Yes.
Last week got real loud.
It did.
Last night, there was a 7-minute rebuttal from the person who we can understand why he was completely upset. Ladies and gentlemen, 4-time NFL MVP, friend of the program, host of Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. Ladies and gentlemen, Super Bowl champion, first ballot Hall of Famer, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
How you doing, pal? Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays have certainly caused some conversation, haven't they, Aaron?
Yes. Conversation, controversy, debate sometimes.
Book club,
Interesting,
too?
Book club, yeah. A lot of interesting things have come from this show.
Well,
a lot of people that love the show. A lot of people love the show. A lot of people that want to censor the show.
Whoa.
At least my segment.
I've heard a lot. I've heard a lot about that. There's been a lot of articles about calling me reckless, and now this goes back to COVID, by the way. I was being called a murderer alongside of you because I was allowing Aaron Rodgers, first ballot Hall of Famer, the current MVP of the NFL. I was allowing you on my platform. Don't even let him on your platform. You don't think Aaron Rodgers has a platform? Okay, got it. Okay. So I was letting you on my platform, and it was injuring people and scaring people and potentially killing people. That was during COVID. I was getting murdered in different languages.
Killed.
I mean, it was a wild time, as were you, obviously, but I just got a chance to kind of experience it. That whole conversation came back up now, once again, over the last week. You've obviously seen it all, heard it all. You said yesterday at your press conference with the New York Jets where you said, I will be addressing that tomorrow. Jimmy Kimmel obviously had a 7-minute and 32-second diatribe last evening to start the show, kind of explaining his side of the entire thing. A lot of people said they respect more jokes in there.
Yeah.
A little bit more jokes. Sure. Seemed like it was a little bit more of like he was super bummed out. Just kind of wanted to get it out there. Aaron, I think this is the perfect time for you to kind of address your side of this. You've been threatened to be sued. You've obviously been talked about by a lot of people yet again, and I'm sure you have thoughts on it. The mustache looks great. Go ahead and take it away, pal. And I want to let you know, I will check you, okay?
Damn right.
I will check you, okay, on anything you say that I know isn't true. Now, there's going to be a lot of stuff you say that I'm all hurt. Just let me know if I should check you, please, with what you're talking. You have more research than me. Anyways, Aaron Rodgers, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, the research, that's a whole nother story. I mean, why would you do any research on anything, ever look into anything? Listen, I think we should just get into it, though, just so we can have the woke establishment who's just tuned in for, this part. Let's just get this out of the way first, and they can move on with the rest of the day, and we can all move past this. It's been an interesting week for sure. Very interesting week. A lot of things have been said. A lot of people have been taking shots at me without mentioning their vax status first, which I thought we established with Ryan Fitzpatrick. That was how we're going to do things moving forward. We haven't done that, obviously. So,
Nick Wright,
jokes aside, I want to.
Nick Wright did.
Yep.
Nick Wright did. I heard Nick Wright.
Yeah. Listen, jokes aside, I'd really like to get into this and then let's just move on. So, the history of this, before I get into what I said, what I actually said, and how I feel about all that. The history of this, whatever this is between Jimmy and I, this goes back to COVID times, right? And in COVID times, he mentioned on his show jokes about my immunization, which I know you also made a little joke about it. I'm not going to get into that whole thing. I've talked many times about that, but I made a joke about that. And the fact that, my own research, he didn't just stop there, though. He made a lot of other comments about unvaccinated people, mentioning, that they don't deserve treatment. If they're at a hospital, they shouldn't be given a hospital bed. He made comments about repurposed drugs that were being used all over the world that have incredible safety profiles, that were derogatory. He mentioned ivermectin being horse-based and pushed that whole narrative for a long time. He gave a platform to one of the biggest spreaders of misinformation during the COVID times, Dr. Fauci. So, in my opinion,
Jeez.
he ripped me about the vax, and that turns out to be an L on many occasions because the vax was not safe and effective like we were told that it was in the beginning. There are a lot of injuries now that we've seen related to the vaccine. So, in my opinion, you went after me. That's fine. You're a comedian. Go for it. Not offended, but that was an L. Fast forward to, again, unprompted. We're talking on our show, as we do, about a lot of different topics. Somehow the Epstein client list comes up. And I said, it's interesting, and there were for a long time. Even still, there hasn't been a list that's been released. There's been one person's, deposition from a 2015 case, right? But we said there's an excitement to expose corruption. And what I joked about the other day about popping a bottle, there's excitement about when the corruption anywhere gets exposed and people who are accused of these heinous crimes get exposed. That will be nice, that we can get this all out in the open. That's not there. So I made this comment on the show whenever that was last year, right, I believe. And then unprompted, he comes out and says that I'm an overly concussed wacko. In my opinion, it seemed like because I believe that there was a list and that there were names on that, right? So, then we fast forward to this last week, right? And I said that a lot of people, and I'm quoting myself here, a lot of people, including Jimmy Kimmel, are really hoping that doesn't come out. End quote. That's what I said. That's the entire quote. Okay? I was referring to the fact that if there is a list, which again, this hasn't come out yet, this was just a deposition, right? And there are names on it, then that would be the second time that a soft brain junior college student, wacko, anti-vax, anti-Semite, purveyor, spreader of misinformation, conspiracy theorist, MAGA, whatever other things have been said by him and other people in the media would be right twice. Now, let me just say that is the truth, number one. Number two, I totally understand how serious an allegation of pedophilia would be. So for him to be upset about that, I get it. Did you watch the quote? Because that's exactly what I said. Verbatim what I said on the show. Okay? I'm not stupid enough, even though you think I'm an idiot, and you made a lot of comments about my intelligence, but I'm not stupid enough to accuse you of that with absolutely zero evidence, concrete evidence. That's ridiculous. So I'm glad, and I think we can agree on something, is that one, those crimes are heinous, and two, I'm glad you're on the list because those who are on the list, and this is what I think we can agree on, that at minimum there should be an inquiry into their involvement, especially if they went to the island, and at maximum there should be an investigation into it. So I hope that you'll give the same type of energy to these heinous crimes when they do come out, and the names do come out, and there is an inquiry into it, that you gave to other subjects that I actually mentioned that you spent a lot of time working on. So I'd like to put this to bed to move forward. I don't understand, to just finish this up, I do understand. But I don't understand a Mike Voss comment because he didn't help out either. And I'm going to quote Mike Voss. He said, Aaron made a dumb and factually incorrect joke about Jimmy Kimmel. It should never have happened. We all realized that in the moment. Mike, you're not helping. You're not helping because I just read earlier exactly what I said. So, and this is the game plan of the media. And this is what they do. They try and cancel and it's not just me. It's nowhere near just me. I mean, if you look at all the different people who've been censored from the internet especially during COVID, the canceling that went on, the censorship, using the government to try and censor people that happened. And if that doesn't work, then they go to name calling. I mentioned a lot of the names that I've been called, and they don't stick because I'm not anti-vax. I'm interested in informed consent and things that are in the best interest of my body. I'm not a MAGA. I've never had any affiliation with anybody associated with that movement, right? Which is okay if you are, though. Like, there's different opinions all over the place, right? If you're that's your ideology, that's fine. I'm not a super political person. Okay, do whatever you want. Conspiracy theorists, that's fine, because if you look at the track record of conspiracy theorists in the last few years, they've been right about a lot of things. So I don't care about that one. Anti-Semite, that was called. I mean, that's just like, this is their game plan. They use these words to cancel people, and they went and ran with this because it's the crazy anti-vaxxer wacko again, talking about, accusing somebody of being a pedophile. Like, of course, this is the game plan that they use. Incorrect, but that's the environment that we're in. There's a lot of people who have been captured by various, entities, government entities, whether we're talking about pharmaceutical industrial complex or whether we're just talking about believing that the government has a best interest in mind and we're puppeting, various narratives. In the end, if you are not someone whose opinion aligns with the mainstream narrative, this is what they're going to do with you. And it's not me. I'm not a victim. I don't give a shit. Say whatever the hell you want about me. That's fine. Like, the people that know me and love me, you know what I'm all about. My teammates know what I'm all about.
Most
I don't have,
teammate.
like,
Most
I've
inspiring
never
teammate, by the way. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Won an award in the middle of this whole thing from your teammates. Prima donna, obviously.
Some people puked because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saw a guy cry.
But listen,
Saw a guy cry because you were named the most inspirational teammate.
Should we say
That was not like joy,
Listen.
tears of joy.
I still, in the end, to sum this up, listen, I still haven't popped a bottle because there hasn't been any list that's come out. And I'm glad that Jimmy is not on the list. I really am. And I don't think he's the P word. And I think it's impressive that a man who went to Arizona State and has 10 joke writers can read off a prompter. So, my education at JUCO and my 3 semesters at Cal that I'm very proud of has worked out for me, and I'm glad to see it's worked out for him as well. So I wish him the best. Again, I don't give a shit what he says about me. But as long as he understands what I actually said, and that I'm not accusing him of being on a list, then I'm all for moving forward.
All right, thank you for your time there. Thank you for addressing it.
Hell yeah.
There's a few things that I'm going to have to check you on in there. Okay, as you're going
Please
through.
do.
As you're going through there, I was making a checklist for the CNBC folks, and, the whole crew. You said that Anthony Fauci was the biggest spur of misinformation. I remember he was throwing out opening pitches terribly, worst of all time. And he was the guy. He was the one giving the information. And then he said that's proven to be wrong. I assume you're referring to some studies or something that you have found, and obviously you've invested a lot of time in because you've been called a murderer, a killer for not getting the vaccine. I assume you've paid close attention. If you would like to expand upon that particular statement that you made early in your response there, I think that'd be good for all parties.
I don't know if ESPN wants me to, but yeah.
This is what I'm supposed to.
Oh yeah.
Right? Ain't I supposed to?
Yes, this is journalism.
Let me indulge you. First of all, there are dozens of studies that talk about that have done by reputable places that have been published in reputable journals that talk about a variety of different subjects, including the efficacy of masking, efficacy of lockdowns, efficacy of a number of different medicines, repurposed medicines, antiviral, anti-malaria medicines, stuff that was used all over the world. In order for the vaccines to get emergency use authorization, right, the EUA, this is what people don't understand. It had to be that there were 0 early treatments that worked against COVID, right? So what did Dr. Fauci say? There was nothing. There was nothing they could do. All they did, this is the protocol. Somebody gets sick, right? Send them home till they got really horrible horrible symptoms, and then bring them back and put them on remdesivir, which is $3,000 per dose, and a ventilator. And the statistics are staggering about people who went, especially on ventilators, especially the elderly, and it's devastating and extremely sad.
I remember those times people weren't allowed to go into the hospital and see their family, right? I mean, that was at the very.
And I know it's crazy, and this is maybe an old way of doing things, but I enjoy reading, and when I'm reading something, I may be delivering a message, but I'm not delivering it as my own. I didn't come up with any of these facts. I wasn't in the weeds. I'm not a epidemiologist, a virologist. I'm not any of those things. I'm just someone who's interested in certain topics. I like to read, and then I take other people's ideas and opinions and contemplate them and think about whether they're true or not, what feels true to me, and then I'll make my own beliefs off of that. I know it's a weird way of thinking, and the idea of even like doing your own research was vilified for a while, which is crazy. But I enjoy reading. I read studies about this. I've read books. I think Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s book about Fauci is incredible. It's also doesn't paint him in the right light. I haven't seen Dr. Fauci file a lawsuit yet. I know RFK Jr. personally. I know he researched and made sure that his comments and studies were peer-reviewed by a number of different people so that you don't get sued. But it doesn't paint him in the best light. And yes, I believe that he had a financial incentive to not push ivermectin and HCQ and monoclonal antibodies and zinc and vitamin D and vitamin C, all stuff that was used all over the world. I'm talking about in Japan, in Brazil, in Mexico, in Uttar Pradesh, in India, a state that has 230 million people, and at one point had less than like 10 COVID cases active, when we were having thousands every single day. Like, look at Africa. The continent of Africa had very low numbers, and many people think that Africa, there's parts of it that are very third world, right? But what do? Most of them, the part of their routine is to take anti-malaria drugs. And when you get into a pandemic, this is, again, all I've read. I'm not a virologist. I'm not a doctor, right, in the sense. But I am interested, and I've read these things. And they take a lot of anti-malaria drugs over there because malaria is a problem in Africa. And anti-malaria drugs, repurposed nature of them, have been seen to stop viral replication and actually do well against COVID. But if that were the case, then these billion-dollar vaccines, one of which, in particular, Dr. Fauci had a significant financial stake in, wouldn't have been cleared for EUA. And they would have been able to be pushed out. They would have to go through the normal process of vaccines, which is multi-year studies.
Okay.
Of efficacy, to develop a safety profile. That didn't happen. So that's my problem. I don't know why more people aren't upset with that. Everybody who lost people to COVID, everybody who dealt with the draconian measures, and that's my last point. Then I just want to fucking move on. But it's like, people are always like, why are you still talking about COVID? Like, why don't you just move on? It's ridiculous. I'm like, well, let's see what happened. They locked everybody up forever. It was supposed to be a couple weeks, right? They locked everybody up. Hundreds of thousands of businesses closed and never opened again. Dozens of people that I know in their 30s, who poured everything into these small businesses and restaurants and bars and never opened again. So they lost everything. They're out on their ass, right? The wealth gap got even bigger from the haves and have-nots. They lied to us over and over. They vilified early treatments. They censored legitimate doctors in the space, like Dr. Peter McCullough, like Dr. Corey, like Dr. Robert Malone, who allegedly was there in the beginning of the mRNA technology, and so many more people than that. The Alex Berensons of the world, the Weinsteins of the world, who were like writing about this, talking about this.
Not hard.
Brett Weinstein.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I knew that. I was about to check you.
And
had
an informed opinion about this. I mean, they were arresting people who were surfing in California. They closed the beaches. When I don't know what percentage, but probably 60% or more of the country is vitamin D deficient. And vitamin D, does well against the common cold, as does vitamin C, as does zinc,
What?
as does the number of home remedies that we all have. But no, stay inside, wait for this vaccine, which is 100% safe and effective, which they told us. So my whole point is, listen, they lied to us many times over. They locked us up. They closed our businesses. They increased the mental health issues exponentially. The rates of suicide went way up, and they're just like, they vilified us. The draconian things that the ridiculous shut down. We lost billions of dollars. It's not there's no NFL owners who are mad about this now that we look back and go, oh, well, maybe we could have stopped this with a little like early treatments, or like not given remdesivir and a ventilator to these patients. Maybe like treat it like the common cold, where you have symptoms and you start doing something about it. You treat it, and I have a problem with that because now people are just like, oh, just move on, just brush it under the rug. It's like, well, I have many apologies, not by that guy in ABC, and not by any of these people who are still. I mean, the LA County, we just put mask mandates back in.
Oh, buddy.
I mean, how many studies have we seen now from all over the world that show the lack of efficacy of masks?
Hey, real quick.
What are we talking about?
Real quick, your usage of efficacy today has really showcased your intelligence. I want to let you know that. You've used it in a phenomenal fashion. I assume you did it because you have become the paragon of conspiracy theories from all these people. And
I feel like my intelligence has been attacked, and I might need to grab my my transcript that I used to get into junior college.
Well, you had two A's on that in your name, Aaron. I thought that was pretty clever, actually. I will say. And I did check you there, which obviously seems like you have a little bit more research than maybe any other human that exists outside of the potential doctors that you were there.
There's way more people who are well-read, and I read their stuff. But one of my favorite things, and I'll end with this, and I promise I don't want to.
No, there's one more thing I have to.
Okay, well then let me get this in. Like, people are always like, you're not a doctor, you're not a virologist, you're not an epidemiologist. I'm like, I'm not. But you know what all those people would say? Natural infection and recovery gives you way more robust, long-lasting, sometimes for life, immune response than any vaccine will ever give you.
All right. Well, I appreciate the bars there at the end from the virologists and the doctors. I thought you were going to say neither are you, the people that are telling you that you're wrong. That's always a fun little give and take. And I assume there's going to be a lot of reaction to what you just said there. Drop the word draconian in there a few times. That felt like it was big. I assume people are going to respond to that.
No, honestly, fact check it. I'm fine. Let's have a debate. You want to have a debate about it? Awesome. Not on this show, but like, let's have a conversation. There should be more conversations. Why are we just moving on from all this stuff when, like, can we look back now and learn from this so the next time there's a situation like this, we can go, okay, maybe there's early treatments that work. Maybe we don't just run a vaccine through that isn't safe and effective. And then how many boosters? I just saw they're encouraging the elderly to get an 8th booster. Like,
Howard Stern got COVID too. Stern got COVID. Which
it didn't stop transmission at all. It didn't stop you from getting COVID. Like,
all right. Well, I appreciate your stance, especially because
fact check me one more time, and then let's move on.
All right, sounds good. Then we got football to talk about because there's a lot of things happened. Vrabel just got fired. And Vrabel's pumped that we just brought that up in the middle of this conversation. But like the reason why you feel the way you feel is because everything that you've been through this entire thing. You were chastised pretty heavily, which I assume made you invest a lot more time in it to kind of not only clear your name but feel a little bit sense of self whenever everybody was telling you you're the worst human on earth. And there's going to be people that disagree with you. And I think this conversation and this show is actually a great place to go ahead.
I was vilified. My character was attacked. My reputation was attacked. My sponsors were attacked. I received death threats. So yeah, I mean, why does it mean a lot to me? Because I went through that and survived the winter of death. So continue.
Well, congratulations. AJ is also a COVID survivor on the other side of the screen there, which we are incredibly proud of him. I believe I survived a few times as well. When it comes to Jimmy Kimmel, and you read your quote, and I think in the moment I even explained, like, hey, Jimmy did this, did that. It immediately got taken by everybody seemingly. And now, once again, you are a human that goes off the grid in 2024. I don't think a lot of people really understand that. You actually went into a dark hole for 4 days. I mean, that is something that happens. He does just read books, and he's impossible to get a hold of. You can ask some people. So the way that whole thing went with you saying like Jimmy Kimmel doesn't want to see that list. And I think people that maybe have watched the show a lot recalled the moment between you and Kimmel whenever he said like, okay, buddy. And then you saying you want to see it was insinuated though that you called him a pedophile by everybody quickly. So I think you could, and you've acknowledged this, like Jimmy Kimmel has been called a pedophile, I think, by a lot of people because his name has been on one of those lists on the internet for a long time. So I think you stoking the flame a little bit there made the entire world continue to turn up on him. I think that's why he got so bummed out by it all.
And that sucks. And I condemn that 100%. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, any type of name calling, that's ridiculous. And I'm not calling him one, and neither should you. So it's not backing me up or making me feel good if you're doing that. Let me make that crystal clear. I don't take any fucking, excitement or joy out of anybody doing that.
Give it two.
So don't do that in my name. Don't do that at all. Like, those are serious accusations meant for people who are on the list. And again, there was some names that came out recently from a deposition from 2005, but there's still flight logs. There's still a lot of other things that are going to come out. And this corruption goes deep, I believe, and most people that probably looked at it believe that it goes deep. But I'm not calling him one. No one should. Don't do it in my name. Like, that's not cool. I'm not about that. And I have no love for anybody doing any of that shit.
All right, Jimmy. Come on.
Get in here.
Team on me. Come on, Aaron.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Hey, we're moving on. I do believe, Aaron, that everything you do in your mind, you feel has the best intentions from your truth and from what you've experienced and from your research. Every once in a while, when we're in here talking, some things can be taken sideways, out of context, start narratives and stories that none of us necessarily love or believe in. Thank you for clearing it up. And Jimmy, hey man, pumped that you're not on that list.
Yeah.
Pumped about it. Because obviously we've all been Jimmy Kimmel fans since way back. Way back. Team on three. 1, 2, 3.
Team.
You're not a fan of them? You're
What was
like
that?
the
What
white
was that,
guys
dude?
that fight?
What's that about?
Yeah,
That's the problem. That's the
You
problem.
were talking in the huddle there, right?
Yeah.
I didn't.
on the outside.
I was that guy. Sorry.
Yeah, we heard you.
Sorry about
We
It's
know.
all right.
We know.
Why don't you like it?
Anyways, let's move along.
Jimmy.
I'm excited to hear if this is over now and we move along because it was on Today's Show this morning.
Nice.
They were like, Today's Show was like, Aaron's going to answer this afternoon. Stay tuned. It was like, all right, great to be a part of
How
this.
many of those people actually watched the clip, and how many people just saw a headline? I don't think Mike Foss watched the clip. I don't know who that is. But I'm like,
Long day
Mike,
for fist.
I don't work for you, Mike.
I think
Okay.
you told, I don't know if maybe
What
it's
part
how
of his
I
quote
heard.
did you not like, Aaron? Which part of it did you not enjoy?
AJ, it's
Made a
like-
dumb and factually incorrect joke.
You thought it was a pretty smart, good one.
I mean, I feel like I made a statement about, not wanting to be on a list to come out, but
It was a callback
should
too.
never have
It was a
happened.
callback,
We
you
all-
thought, to February.
we
Very
all
clever.
realized that in the moment. What are you talking about? Let's move on, man. Come on.
All right, we would like to let you know, excited for you to meet Foss in person someday.
So
Yeah.
pumped.
Foss right now is sitting on an airplane watching this. Just
Oh,
my God.
my.
Probably took all his clothes
Oh
off.
my God!
Yeah.
Oh, he's sweating. I assume. Yeah. You wait till you meet Foss. This will all make a lot more sense once you meet Foss, I think. But I'm happy we're moving on. Let's talk about sports now. Aaron, this past weekend, New England Patriots, obviously in the middle of a snowstorm, you're playing there. A lot of the pictures that come out from that game, and the conversation is obviously, is this Bill Belichick's last time coaching the New England Patriots? Had a sweet ski mask on.
So cool.
Only saw his eyes. Saw the hoodie up over top. There was photos that were taking place of you guys chatting before the game started for like 20 minutes. And after the game, he beelines to who? Aaron Rodgers. Hug, embrace, and then he goes right to the locker room. You head the other way. Now, the whole world is wondering what's going to take place in New England. Obviously, there's been mixed reports. Now, Vrabel's been fired from the Tennessee Titans. Connor's celebrating him coming back to New England if Bill was to leave. What were you guys chatting about? And how long have you and Bill kind of been close in Titan this entire thing?
I think I first met Bill at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am over a decade ago. probably it was either 2010 or 11, and I always had great respect for him. And he said some really nice things that day. I didn't honestly think he knew much about me, but and then didn't get to play him in 2010. Played him in 2014. Had some, a nice moment after the game with him, and same thing in 18 and 22. We always kind of found each other at some point. So I was bummed out not to be playing. Bummed out, that this could be the last time he's in New England, but none of that came up. We actually talked about a snow game in 2019 at MetLife when the Packers played the Giants. And I just think it'd be so fun to have a glass of scotch with Bill and talk ball, because his knowledge of the game, his ability to recall things. He was recalling these two specific plays that we had from the game, and obviously I can do that. I've made those plays, but Bill's on the sidelines, and he's talking about these plays he saw on film and different things, and I don't know. I love his knowledge of the game. I have a ton of respect for him. I don't think he's done. I don't know if he's going to move on, or if their time is done there in New England, but I think the NFL is better with him in it, and I'm thankful for all the little moments I've got to share with Bill over the years, and just tell him how much I respect him, and believe what a great impact he's made on the game.
How come everybody that plays football or is around football feels the same way about Bill Belichick, and then you'll hear like some media and fans members say the complete opposite? Like, why do you think football people, and it's kind of similar with you, like basically every player, not just in the NFL, but most professional athletes are like,
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers is the guy. So like your perception maybe by some media members and by some fans is normally vastly different from every professional athlete and every football player. Why do you think the same thing is for Bill Belichick? Because I'll say for me, for how long he was dominant and how much he's committed to the game, it's impossible not to respect that. But you as a guy, first ballot Hall of Famer, why does everybody like it that's in your level feel the same way about Bill Belichick?
I think because you realize how difficult it is to have sustained success in the league, and that if anybody's ever played against him, especially on the offensive side of the ball, you know what a great strategist he is, and how, we were talking about the 2014 game, right, pregame, and we were laughing because their strategy was so incredible. And I never kind of seen a defense be able to do that and adjust, where you put your number one corner on a number one receiver, put your number two corner in a safety, you put your number two corner in a safety on our number one. You put your number two on your number one corner on our number two, and then you put your number three on our number three, right? And then he's like, man, this guy from Fresno State has this crazy breakout game. Just his recall. That was 9.5 years ago, 9 3/4 years ago. He's talking about what Devonte Adams was doing and the plays that he caught, and the fact that they had to adjust and different things. And I'd never seen a guy be able to do that. But once you play a long time in this league, that these games are won between Monday and Saturday. Right? Sunday is just the icing on the cake. That's the time you play and go execute what you've been working on. But the true masters can win Monday to Saturday, and he's one of those guys he's found little advantages over the years that have he's been able to utilize. He can adjust on the fly. He can adjust in the first quarters, at halftime, third quarter, and he's been a savant ahead of the game for so long that I think everybody who's played a long time just has a ton of respect for him.
Everybody that plays for him, too, says his personality is fantastic. Doesn't get talked about as much because of what he does to the press conferences and the media. And then he comes on game day and he puts a helmet on. Awesome. So it was like, I love this guy. How many games is he away from breaking the all-time record?
15 wins away.
So they're saying he's going to go get that, obviously. Will it be with New England? We shall see. You brought up a good point there about Fresno State, a legend. Tone has a question for you.
Yeah, and you brought up Devonte. I saw this week Garrett Wilson is switching from 17 to his college number of 5. A lot of people are speculating that's because Devonte is coming to the Jets. Can you confirm that?
Ooh.
We're going to check you, too, if you're wrong.
Breaking.
I can confirm you dropped that microphone last night and tried to play it off.
I got cocky.
I will say though, you really tried to play it off cool, and you would have got there if it hadn't been for one of your cohorts there.
Whoa.
Cuddy, drop the mic. Cuddy, drop
He
the
was
mic.
so excited.
I was
so excited.
I was not excited. I was shook to my core. I didn't think that
Yeah.
was even a possibility.
That's our thing, Tone.
Yeah, it is.
We were practicing walking up the sideline.
Mistakes
at
happen. Am
halftime.
I human or am I not?
Well, we don't know. Well, let's not even bring that up.
Yeah.
We've already done. Don't get into it. We don't need to hear it. I don't have enough information at this point. But the Devonte Adams conversation to the Jets is obviously a big one since you got there. But now Devonte Adams has become one of the pillars of the Raiders alongside Max Crosby and what they have cooking with Antonio Pierce, who we assume will remain the entire role. With what the team was last year and what we got to witness the team be without you there, they assume the Jets are going to make moves to kind of up that team if we do want to go all in. Devontae's name's always floated. I assume that you've always just been like, if you guys could get Devonte, I would love to have Devonte. But how much of those conversations are actually taking place, especially around now?
None right now. Absolutely none. There's a lot of time. I think first part is to let the emotion get out of it and get away. Everybody involved, from Woody and Christopher to Joe to Robert to all the players. Just kind of let the emotion out of it. And get away from it. But yeah, obviously, creating a championship team is the goal for Joe, and obviously that's what he wants. And me coming back is obviously a big part of that. But you need the players around you. Devonte is a fantastic player. He also plays for the Raiders, so it's not a lot I can say there other than he's a dear friend and homie. And if I do end up making it out to Vegas, I want to see that golf game because he's been working hard, and I think that's one of the things he loves about being in Vegas. Besides AP and Max and some of the other guys he really likes over there, Josh Jacobs, he loves the fact he can play golf whenever he wants, and that dude is obsessive about it. And he didn't embarrass himself at Tahoe, and now he wants top 50. So hopefully I can get out there and see him. Love me some Devonte. G-Dub's been talking about going to 5 the entire time, so it's a nice coincidence. And as much as I believe there's not many coincidences in life, this one at this point is merely
What's that mean?
a coincidence.
What do you mean?
What do you mean no coincidence? Someone's controlling you? What? You're being controlled, right?
Matrix.
Simulation?
Fauci. Is that what's happening?
No, I'm not being controlled, obviously, which doesn't make a lot of people happy.
Possible.
Well, it does make some conversations interesting, for sure.
You ever get exhausted? You ever get tired fighting all these fights?
I don't feel like I'm fighting these fights. I think it's the same. It's a playbook, right? And the playbook is
Here we go. Thanks, AJ.
censor, silence, name call.
What?
And it's the same people. If you look at whether their profile on X or just their social media stuff, it's the same type of person, right? That probably has been jabbed multiple times, might be wearing a mask while they're driving. I will say there's a lot of bums out there. A lot of bums.
Yep.
A lot of bums.
This was about the time last week, too. Just when we were trying to, we're in here just
A lot
kind of wheeling,
bums who
dealing.
make it their mission. They make it their mission to try and take me down, but it hadn't worked yet. I don't lose sleep over this. I'm not up at night thinking oh shit, what am I gonna do? These people don't like me. I wouldn't ask these people for advice, so I don't really care what they think about me. I'm not trying to make friends. Most of them showed their true colors during COVID by turning on me, slandering me, all those different things that they did. Haven't seen any retraction, any apology as the vaccines get less and less effective on and blah, 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 blah. I've talked about all this shit over and over and over.
Yeah, thank you, AJ.
But this is the media. Many of them are just a blip on the radar of the history of the NFL. They probably intrinsically know that and know that there's not much that they say or do that's ever going to matter when they write the history of the NFL. And unless they say something inflammatory about me, nobody's really watching their shows anyway. So, and that's the other part of it, is that people are insanely jealous of this show because you guys have changed the way that they do media, and that's why there's the Norbies of the world and the slanderers of the world who. And this is me talking. This is
we know.
Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to be. Nobody's clamoring to be on those other shows. It's just the truth. Nobody's clamoring to be on the other shows. You know, the other shows don't have. They can't go first ballot Hall of Famer, greatest college coach of all time on back-to-back days. They just can't. You know, they're celebrating where they can get somebody who goes on one of those shows to like pitch something. That they're working on. This show gets the best of the best, and it does a different way with positivity, not just one person attacking one side and one person attacking the other side. And let's go back and forth and say the craziest shit ever. And listen, I respect the opinions of actually some of those people on some of those shows. Two of those people who are on your network. I actually kind of respect some of the stuff they do, and there was a recent interview that kind of reinforced that as well. But this is the new way. A lot of people are trying to do it. And obviously they're jealous of it. The old guard is not having it, so they want to slander you because you're giving me, this dangerous spreader of misinformation, a platform on your show. So I hope you guys don't take it personally. I hope the upper ups know that this is that people actually have a little more affinity for ESPN now because the Pat McAfee show is on, and because of you boys and everybody that works on the show. Because if it's gone, we're all gone.
Well,
the people who are over here watching this show, they're going to be fucking watching it back on YouTube.
Three. You snuck a couple through earlier.
Fauci's going to apologize?
All right. AJ. But Aaron, thank you for your kind words.
So.
Right? All right.
I don't think so.
Don't hold your breath.
All right. Well,
I don't. Yeah.
Remember that used to be a thing to find out if you had COVID or not. Remember, hold your breath.
Oh yeah, big time.
If you cough.
10 seconds.
If you cough.
Funny you say that. That's good. Hey, it's good check. Good research right there.
Yep.
Aaron, thank you for everything you said. And I assumed at some point you were going to feel obligated to go to bat for us because that's literally how you.
I don't feel obligated. It's the opportunity. It's an opportunity because obviously I know you guys personally and been on the show for a number of years now. Part of that was COVID MVP years, which I'm thankful for the platform to do this because we had some crazy conversations. Obviously, we had a ton of people when I. Made my decision that
top 10 stream in the history of the internet. By the way, that particular thing.
And people, there's some jealousy in the world that's ugly. But I'm thankful for you guys, and I hope you guys are laughing as I do when all the critics are taking these shots at you, at me. AJ for not saying anything.
Mm-hmm. Well, he says a lot. That's the thing. That anytime somebody says, "What does this guy do?" It's like you're not paying attention.
Yeah, just watch.
Yeah.
Listen.
Listen to him the last 10 minutes. So if we could go back to the first 10 minutes of this conversation that we said we weren't going to continue to do. AJ.
One of my favorite things is going back and looking to see who's cutting the clips. Is that
Gump?
Who's cutting the clips for? Is that guess Gumpy? I can't wait to see what Gumpy cut for this.
Well, hey, so Gumpy. That's like a lot of pressure. He's currently sitting in for Zito. And hey, Zito, baby.
Hey, baby Z.
Happy Zito, baby. Congrats, Zito. Gumpy's the one.
Congrats, Zito.
Hell yeah. He's going to love hearing that. Gumpy's the one that has to watch a clip in real time and be like, do we have to add context to this? What do we do here? Did not put the Friday one out. That was on internet. The other people did hear that, though. For yours last week, there's been a couple maybe that have kind of gone, but boy, when other people, that's when the internet starts doing its thing. Because you set the tone with the words, Like I think I saw Elon Musk said that video views are up like 100x or something like that. And he's going to say that right now as he's trying to build up his company back to being worth something. But a lot of those videos, if they're longer than 15 seconds, people aren't watching that entire thing. They're banking on whatever is being said in the tweet or in the post.
So it's got to be as inflammatory as possible. That's what ESPN.com has done forever. You had 8 words to do a headline.
Just them? Just ESPN.com.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, ESPN is the sports leader. Like, nobody's watching shows on other networks. Like, it's ESPN.
Well, we found that out when something very terrible was said right in the middle of one of those episodes. And then just the next day, show was still good. Nobody said a single thing.
What happened?
No one cared.
It's like, well, there's nobody watching that show apparently.
He's the man.
But it's the truth. They're watching it. They're watching on this network.
Could you imagine if we did that?
Are you kidding me? Right now? Could you imagine?
Good
Oh
night,
my
nurse.
God. Anyways, we appreciate your compliments. You're the man. Let's get back to some sports talk here. Ty has a question.
Come on.
Well, we only have 1 minute anyway, still hard out. So if Ty was to ask you the question,
do
we
the
get
hard
cut
out.
off
Do
in
the
the
hard
middle
out.
of it.
Yeah, Aaron, I'll just say you were right. Obviously, shouldn't have been worried about the Packers at all. They do what they do. They beat the Bears. I believe there was a report, though, that said you either texted Jordan Love before the game or after that the game. Just curious, how impressed are you with his maturation and just like how incredible he's looked down the stretch here with the youngest offense in the NFL? Because I tell you what, I'm having a good week so far.
Well, where's all the criticism? It's a little quiet.
Oh.
A little bit quiet, isn't it? A lot of shit talking was going on. A little quiet now. So I don't know if he used any of that for motivation. It's always fun to quiet those people, though. Proud of him. You know, he's a great kid, and he's had a nice season. And a lot of people were piling on at 6-8, weren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe even you too, Ty. Maybe even you too.
Not him. Defense, for sure. I've been saying for quite some time.
Please, I had my sights on Joe Barry, not Jordan. Is what Ty just said.
Jay.
Exactly.
Please, but he's back.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Touche.
Back checked.
Boom.
But,
Respect you.
Gotcha, Aaron. Gotcha.
I text him before the game. I think that's 10 in a row now.
Yep.
So the thing I'm a little disappointed about, I thought that based on tiebreakers, Packers win would mean Bears are third in the division, which means the NYJ comes out to Soldier Field. So we're going to US Bank instead. But yeah, I mean, that was a pretty masterclass performance by Jordan. I think he had only 6 or 7 incompletions, 5 or 6 incompletions.
Yeah. Yep.
Jeez.
Yeah, he played great. Took care of the football, made a lot of plays, and now they're in the playoffs. There's some great storylines in the playoffs, aren't there? You know, with Matt going back to Detroit and and Green Bay going against Big Mike in Dallas. What else do we got as far as those kind of things go? There's some other things like
Well, Jimmy Kimmel, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, they're playing.
That one's pretty good ones going on.
Monday night. Yeah, the Monday night thing though. I don't know if I'm a big fan of that.
What's that?
I get it for ratings, but having a Monday night game and then having that team turn around, unless they're guaranteed to play on Sunday, that seems like maybe a slightly disadvantage.
I don't know if they can give them Saturday after Monday night. I would assume they're not.
Last year was Bucks Cowboys, and they played on Sunday. The Cowboys did after they beat the Bucks.
I would assume that they're not allowed to give them Saturday.
Okay.
You would,
Well, that's good then.
you would assume or hope so, at least. The NFL would do
That's
something
good.
right. But there is, hey, Super
there's
Wild
some
Card
great stories.
Weekend, Aaron. Super Wild Card Weekend has been phenomenal. It's just like perfect lineup each day. If one of the games gets bad, obviously that kind of gets absurd. But like, think about Joey Flacco back in this entire thing. There's a lot of great stories, Aaron, to your point.
Mace.
Yeah, I mean, keep that up there. Like C.J. Stroud, the season that he's had is phenomenal. Joe coming from the couch to leading his team. That's kind of a pick 'em. Who's the favorite in that one? Oh, it is Browns are favorite in that one. You got Miami and the struggles that they've had against Kansas City has been up and down. They rested most of the guys last week. You have Mason Rudolph coming off the bench to win, 3 straight there against Josh, and they've won 5 straight, and they look amazing. You got 2 teams that kind of been struggling a little bit, at least the last couple weeks in Tampa and Philly, who are, veteran-laden teams, guys who won a lot of football. So it's fun. I mean, it'll be exciting to see what happens. You got the 2 best teams in the league waiting for one of the low seeds, but there's a lot of games that might not be as far apart as some of these spreads. It seems like, especially that bottom left, I think it's going to be a really interesting game.
Yeah, 7.5, more than a ton. Not a lot of respect.
Love it.
Big
Love
Mike,
it.
Big Mike, though.
Cowboys at home
Big
have
Mike.
been tough at
Yeah,
home.
16.
Jerry World has been a real problem. I know you've gone in there and had some success, and also you've been in there where great performances have been done. at halftime, obviously, with bald-headed baby-looking adults flying around.
Yeah.
We all can remember that entire thing.
Old stadium.
That was the old stadium, I think. That was the old stadium.
Oh, you're old, bro. Think about that.
Yeah.
Still playing.
A long time.
Speaking of you being old, Connor has a question for you, Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron, and what kind of C word would I be if I didn't also bring up, if you haven't heard the Cat Williams interview, and I think you were referencing that earlier, Ice Cube also came out right after it, did a nice 9-minute video just to sum it up. Ice Cube was basically just like, yeah, it's fucking true. But aside from the point.
Well, Ludacris responded with a diss.
Bars, yeah. Ludacris dropped bars. You have to respect the bars, but Ice Cube also, you got to also respect what Ice Cube says. And I'm not going against Ice Cube. I'm just going to put that out there.
Well, there's like 40 other people, too, that from that particular one. And by the way, I was the Cat Williams generation.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, yeah.
Big time reader, too. Cat Williams, 3,000 books a year, he said, as like a 7-year-old.
Yeah, very smart person.
It's pretty good. That's a Wilt Chamberlain numbers.
Yeah, very smart person. But, when you're saying stuff to Aaron's point, sometimes he gets disheveled. You had a press conference yesterday, Aaron, and, you talked about how coming into this year, it was awesome. You weren't sure how long it was going to be, and then you fell in love with the team and the place and everything, and then you kind of knew it was going to be a multi-year thing, and then you said again yesterday, you got to kind of come back and reprove yourself. Is this kind of... Are we about to enter into scorched earth, Aaron Rodgers? Because it does feel like that, and as a Patriots fan, it makes me extremely nervous. And also, is this going to be, a 2-year thing for sure? Because from what it seems like, especially from hearing you talk, which has been incredible all season, by the way, and all those people who are sending your death threats, again, bunker mentality. Fuck them all. Fuck them all. But aside the point again, Jets, how are we feeling going into next season? Is the rehab kind of, going to slow down because you have more time now? And last thing, I got a mustache comb. It has changed my fucking life. So think about grabbing one. It just feels great when you run it through the stash, just so you know.
That's a lot, Connor. Thank you. I always look forward to what you're going to wear on either the multicast or the daily stuff. So
same thing, actually.
Yeah, I smell
I feel like that guy last night, the cheerleader guy, didn't look around him when he said this is America's mullet.
Dylan.
Yeah, that was quite
the. Shout out to him, and Michigan for winning. They looked great last night, especially the run game was dominant. But he didn't look around him and see that old con man was there with America's mullet.
He was intoxicated by the national champion.
His moment. He had the sideburns too. I had to respect
it. Was his moment. Yeah, it was his moment. I get it.
Those guys were basing all night.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they were.
Talking about.
I heard two ladies each guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
3 guys, 6 girls.
Yep.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Shoulders. Routine.
Doing a lot of Arnold press. Huh?
Yeah.
A lot of Arnold.
Yeah. Bingo.
Shout out to Arnold. I wonder if he's going to come on our show ever again.
I think so.
I think he will. Arnold's the man.
All right.
Go.
I haven't seen him on any other shows, but maybe he's been on those.
He's been doing something. Him and his donkey did the Monday Manning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, he did the Manning cast. Yeah. Those guys are awesome.
Agreed. Yeah.
Jets, 2 or 3 years, I think. 2 or 3 years. I'm going to see how I feel. But I said yesterday, I said something, and headlines are headlines. And if you say one thing and you see them all write something down, you're like, shit. I said it to my media guy afterwards. I was like, well, I know what the headline's going to be. I said something about being the hot seat, right? And it's true, though. We're on the hot seat every year. If you don't look at your job like that, I don't know what we're doing. But every year you got to prove yourself again, whether you're the quarterback or any position or the coach. You go out and prove that you are, a valued asset, that you can get the job done, and you still got it. Then you're going to be around. So that's how I've always looked at it. Obviously, it's a little different when you're under contract, maybe first year, second year as a rookie, or first or second year of a major deal. But everything for me is a 1 year. I go out, ball out. We make a run, have a chance. They'll probably want me back if I can prove I can still move around. If I don't, it's probably going to be it. I'd like to be here for a few more years. I like it here. I really do. I really have a good relationship with both Woody and Christopher and Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh. I enjoy the staff here. I enjoy the guys a lot. It's a good group of men and women that work here at the organization. Incredible fan base that's hungry. and it's been a tough year. I feel like it's been a lost year, but every time I talk, it's going to get reaction. I get it, I understand it, and yeah, we're all on the hot seat. Like we got to win every year. You got to win, and it's over scrutinized because we're in New York, but we know that. Don't shy away from it. It's part of it.
Okay, so whenever you talk about that multiple year thing, obviously that's a lot different than what a lot of people thought going in. And with how the first year ends up going, Jets fans gave up hope, I think, on the whole dream for a bit. Now they're back in on it. Michael Lombardi said it was like ineptitude of the Jets to basically say, well, we lost Aaron. So that puts a lot of pressure on you. Like for next year, if it doesn't go, let's say early, there's a little bit of some growing pains that could potentially take place because you didn't get to have them this past year. It's going to get real out, mostly on you though. But you've earned that, I guess. And are you expecting that and understand that that's kind of going to be the scenario?
Yeah, I'll take it. I'm ready for it. Like I understand it's part of the job description. Like, and our media is fantastic here. They cover the team, all facets of it. They ask tough questions, so I enjoy those times. I understand what's coming, and same thing last year. Would have been the same thing had I started, played well, and we'd gone down to Dallas and gotten our ass whooped and like, oh well, hold your horses. It might not be a great team, and if we'd kind of started off 1-3, they would have been killing me like they were killing everybody else. So probably a little more, but. Yeah, it's part of it, part of the job. I get it. I look forward to it. Look forward to those interactions, and I'll be ready for everything that comes with it. Excited about getting back here in a few months and getting the off season going. Excited about taking a little break first and foremost. We'll see if this whole thing dies down. It never really, COVID part never really dies down, but the other stuff, and then we'll just try and enjoy our off season a little bit more.
On that note, AJ Hawk has a question. Great.
No, I'm not. Nothing about COVID, none of that. I'm just curious, when you went into that, your darkness retreat that got so much play, how close were you, if you look back at it now, you said you went in expecting like 90% retirement, I think you said, back in the day. I don't want to misquote you. We know how you don't like that. But when you look back, what's the chance? What did
certainly over the last week, hasn't it?
Quite a few.
How close were you, though? Were you legit going to quit? Because or retire, I should say. When you say 2 to 3 years, I can't imagine you ever really taking your brain to the spot where you're not playing football.
I think that was not the case prior to the contemplation that I was considering walking away and doing it right away. But and I said it yesterday, I felt like it was going to be a 1-year thing, and then I got out here and I kind of fell back in love with the game and the process and the practice and the locker room and just everything that comes with it. And so,
you remember those OTAs? There was slow motion shots.
Yeah. So sick.
It was like, this guy's throwing the first time in front of all these people. These people are seeing Aaron Rodgers throw a football for the first time. You knew that. Like, even as a guy who's a first ballot Hall of Famer, you got people watching on a sideline. There's a little thing in the back of a lot of you humans up there like, welcome to the motherfucking show, buddy. Like, was that a part of it? That's a whole thing, right?
Of course.
Yeah, I imagine, yeah.
When you take the field for practice, like, there's people, it's the same thing for games. Like, I feel that in games, too. It's like, prepare to be impressed. It's like, are you not entertained? Like, watch this. I mean, because, and I think I took this from Michael Jordan or somebody, but I feel like some elite athlete once said, maybe it's Kobe, like, there's somebody in the arena that's never seen me play tonight. Like, and I'm like, there's somebody here that's never seen me practice. It's never seen me throw a ball before. It's never seen me play. Like, that motivates me. That's like, that inspires me. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put on a show. So, yeah, like, I've had so much fun falling back in love with the game, and so that's, I think, why it was even more heartbreaking going down so quick. But I don't think it's going to be 1 more year. I think it's going to be a few more years. So saying 2 to 3 feels like the truth. I don't think 1. It's not 1. So it's 2 or or more. That's why I said 2 or 3.
Well, don't be giving exact numbers, because then they'll get you.
Yep.
This lion immunized sack of subs.
You lied again.
He said 2 to 3 years. He's played 4 years. This fucker never stops lying.
This guy.
Never
Do they
stops.
still not understand why I said immunized?
Dude, it just became like the.
Do they know that I was in an appeal process? Not to mention, like, I don't know what you would call it. If you go to a homeopathic doctor and you get taken through an immunization process, what do you say you are?
Well, I think what some people would say is that you're a conspiracy theorist. That's what people would say.
Well, lion, soft-brained,
concussion.
junior college transfer conspiracy theorist. But I'll tell you what, though, I was proud that Butte got a shout out because that was a special year for me. There's a lot of amazing people.
Of course.
Going to Butte College, whether it's the main campus in Warville there or the Chico Center. So shout out to Butte College, go Roadrunners. Shout out to Craig Rigsby, one of my all-time favorite coaches. Shout out to Jeff Jordan, my quarterback coach, offense coordinator. We had some great times there. Thanks for letting me run BC check with me so much, which was basically 5 wide spread. Check to either QB draw, 92, 96, 99.
Wide.
Get down the road.
Well, shout out to Butte. I mean, that's good silver lining. They got a shout out last night.
Go
That's
Pub.
good. Hey, way to go. Way to look at the glass half full. You know what I mean? Actually, with that particular case, you poured it out of the glass that was half full into a smaller glass all the way full.
Yeah.
Did give a shout out to Butte there in the middle of that entire thing.
Enrollment numbers.
And also with the type of human you are, I think that we've learned over the last couple of years of talking to you, feels like you're probably going to go get a doctorate at some point now, right? Because that was kind of held against you that you didn't graduate from. That seems like an Aaron Rodgers thing. Oh, yeah, I've decided I'm going to become a fucking doctor. How come? Well, I was a dumb concussion-prone college dropout at one point, right? That is how you actually operate as a human.
Well, yes. And also, do we want to get into the college debate? I mean,
All right. Okay.
Yes,
Hey,
yes,
ladies and gentlemen.
yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a
Picking up
great.
a great book right now. It's called The Coddling of the American Mind, and it talks a lot about what's really going on college campuses these days. So the fact that I, only spent 5 actual semesters on a college, 2 of those being at a college that some people don't respect, even though community colleges are awesome ways for kids to start their career because it's low cost. Education in most places is fantastic, and a lot of places are really good at getting you to transfer somewhere. So I don't even want to get into what's going on in college campuses because it's that's just low-hanging fruit.
I had a lot of great teammates that were JUCO guys, and not only is it low cost, and if you get a degree, you showcase that you were able to just put in work for a certain amount of time, which is what I think college degrees are for a lot of things. We're not even going to get into charging an amount of money that they'll never be able to earn back, so you're constantly in debt forever. We're not going to do that.
It's the only debt that doesn't get erased through filing bankruptcy. That thing stays with you. Not just with you, but if you die, that goes on to that gets passed down. They're getting that money.
Now, you read that in a book. I did not read that stat. I'm supposed to check
that. Please fact check that. That could be false, but I believe that's the way that student loans work.
Checking.
We're checking.
Checking right now.
Checking right now. We're not going to let you get out of here until we get
No way.
Check it out, con man.
Didn't Biden forgive a bunch of college loan?
Yeah, I think it's still happening, but then they just started paying recently.
Yeah, in the forgiveness, if you will, there are a lot of checks that you got to get to. Okay, so they're not just forgiven for anything. You got to have a lot of different problems.
So they're saying we might forgive, but we don't forget.
Yeah,
is what they're saying.
Biden has had a great think tank at UPenn, I think.
All right.
I think this is the problem with what to kind of wrap this conversation.
I'm happy you're the one doing this.
Yeah. Well, I'm a great fact checker.
He seemed very happy about it.
Yeah, I love doing it. So one of them says,
all right,
if a borrower dies, their federal student loans are discharged after the required proof of death is submitted.
Oh, that's good. That seems fair.
However,
well, that's a big one.
Directly below it, there is no administrative discharge for private student loans if you die. Private loan debts will be handled the same way as other debts.
So it goes on to the next line of...
Yeah, the next one actually says if you weren't vaccinated, you have to pay your debts no matter what.
Forever.
Yeah, right after it.
Bag them and tag them. While you're doing it.
Yeah. That's right.
All right. Well, we know that before I go one step further, the answers at the top of the Google are obviously.
Oh yeah.
Versus the myth. I mean, there's no.
No,
Hey, check him. They say. Two people that are both qualified to give an answer on something will somehow have polar opposite answers in the same world that we live in right now. So whenever people are like upset, it's like, hey, I might not know the answer to go to the other side, but I can find somebody that is credible, smart, presents themselves as a human that has done the research, who will be just as passionate against you. And I think the reason why I was kind of bummed out about last Tuesday is because what it led to was just more people yelling and bickering at each other. And I think even though you are a man that has been chastised and had a lot of things thrown at you for the decisions that you've made and the way you've gone about living your life, I don't think you want to be in the middle of more motherfuckers yelling at each other either. I think all anybody wants, mostly you, is like open dialogue, conversation, and to be heard. And I think if we can all kind of do that as we move forward, we'll be in a much better spot.
Yep.
Because we're about to enter election season, and goddamn, if we could just talk to each other, that would make this all a lot better. But what's going to take place is I'm a better human than you are.
No, you're not. No, I'm a better human than you are. And I don't know if you know this, ESPN, that P changes this year.
To what?
Politics, baby. Let's go.
No, that's why you're a bad person.
No, I'm
because
not
of what you just said.
No, I'm not. What
I'm a better person than you are.
You're not. I just read facts off the internet. So
no, but your facts were leading to a way that you are. I'm a better person than you are. You're a bad person.
I've never done leading facts. I'm a better person than you are. Guess what? I actually rode in a carpool with Gumpy today because we wanted to save the environment because we don't want to waste gas.
Oh, guess what? I was also in there, very uncomfortable. Didn't have to be. I'm a better human than you are.
No, you're not a better human than I am because you drive an electric car, and those mines that they make those electric batteries in, children die every day.
Whoa, let's talk about the fucking ozone, though. I'm taking care of the entire world. You're welcome. They say global warming. I'm a better human than you are.
Oh, global warming? You mean that pish posh they made up to just get everybody into a frenzy? You mean that one?
Anyways, that's politics. A constant battle of who's a better human, who's standing for something better. Let's all assume that in the majority, we're all good people and we want to move forward. We appreciate you coming on today, Aaron, doing this entire thing, and let's keep this thing marching on, pal.
We covered a lot of ground, and who knows if we cleared anything up as far as the those people who are out there saying stuff. Most of them probably don't want things cleared up anyway. But listen, I think in general, I think you hit it on the head. Like, I'm not trying to spread any hate in this world, and I'm not asking anybody in my name to attack people. So I hope that point got across loud and clear, and I hope that all corruption and misdeeds that have been done in the name of harming people, whether it's kids or the common American, gets exposed, because that's going to make us a better country. Not fighting with each other about stupid shit like you guys just were, which is hilarious and also disheartening because that kind of shit is happening out there all the time.
Yeah.
So
I'm an observer. I don't know much about politics, but I do know that's what it is.
Yep.
Right there, in a nutshell.
I don't think this is going to change my opinion to those people at all. I don't care.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. Hell of a year, pal. We done good. Mustache was fantastic. Can't wait until next year. Mm-hmm. Two healthy Achilles.
Wide.
Spry knees.
Wide.
Arrested body and arm.
Wide.
Taking the field at MetLife on September 11th, 2024.
Woo!
No, it's going to be a different day. It's got to be. We got to change that. That's not going to work. We got to change.
Fact check.
Are you superstitious? What are we?
I don't know what day of the week that is.
I think it's a Wednesday, right? 'Cause we're in
Wednesday
April.
afternoon football. Do it, Raj.
Yeah.
We need to see it. You know what I mean? We need to do one of these right here. That was so cool.
We're gonna need San Fran to win, and us to play on a Wednesday. Or that's a Thursday, right? First game of the year. We're gonna need San Fran to win because we play in San Fran. They could choose us to start the season.
You going back to Northern California, we were at that dumbass school. That'd be big.
That'd be awesome. Last time they played there was pretty sweet too.
Oh yeah.
I believe that was a Mason Crosby game winner.
Yeah.
Dart to Devonte over the middle over Fred Warner.
Mm-hmm. Mason Crosby was
Big
back,
route.
by the way. Mason Crosby was back last 2 weeks of the season.
Hell yeah.
Congrats to him doing it.
Yeah.
All right, Aaron. Have an incredible offseason. We appreciate you, buddy.
See you soon.
Ooh, coming to the Dome.
Whoa, that's crazy, man. Make sure you're vaxxed before you get here. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.